Hello viewers, welcome to another edition of Point Blank. My name is Kizito Osimnobi Ibe. Nollywood is a name used to describe Nigerians who are in entertainment and film industry. Nollywood is largest in the world, second to Hollywood. Nollywood Nigeria was created in 1960 when the first Nollywood movies were produced by historical filmmakers such as Ola Balogun, Huba Ogunde, Jab Adu, Moses Olaye, and Edie Uboma. Beyond the shores of Nigeria lives many Nigerians who are talented and gifted in filmmaking and acting. Hence, the formation and creation of Nollywood USA. How effective is Nollywood USA and active? What are the challenges facing Nollywood USA? What is the worth of Nollywood Nigeria and USA inclusive? Recently, Netflix bought the first Nigerian movie, Lionheart, produced by Genevieve Nnaji. What is the impact of that purchase on Nigerian movie? To discuss with me in this studio, I have two members of Nollywood USA. On my left is a fashion icon, a business owner, a beauty simplifier, according to me, and an actress. She is the owner of Dabira Jewelry. And by the special grace of God, she is also the granddaughter of the late king of Lagos, Oba Muse Diku Adeniji Adele. Please help me welcome Princess Dabira to the program.
Hello, thank you.
On my right, I have an artistic director, a prolific writer, an author, and a commentator on national issues. He has 4 books to his credit. It is my pleasure to welcome Mr. Ben Amushe to the program.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. We are here to talk about Nollywood and what it stands for. Let me start from you, Mr. Ben. What is Nollywood?
Well, you know, to say who coined the name Nollywood, it will be very, very difficult, because it will be like who coined the name Ben.
Yeah.
It will be very difficult to find out. But what it is people who live in Nigeria, because now they're setting trends. Nigeria set trends all the time.
Of course.
So they set the trend of producing these low-cost, low-budget movies and putting our stories on the front line. Instead of listening to Indian movies and Chinese movies that we were used to, or Asian movies that we were used to, or listening to Hollywood churn out so many things that don't even look like us in any way.
Yes.
So some people decided to come together to put their efforts together to get our stories together and put them out there, no matter what it takes. So they will break their backs, they will break their banks to do it. Here in Nollywood, here in the United States, Hollywood, nobody produces movie in Hollywood with their money. Nobody. Even Steven Spielberg, as rich as he is,
Cannot.
he won't do any movie with his money. He will go to banks, he will find hedge fund members, and he will find, people will put money together to make movies. He will make money from it, make more money from that, but he won't do it. In Nigeria, it's not like that. We don't have so many people sponsoring and helping us do this kind of stuff. So we will come to Dabira, for instance, and say, listen, we're going to mention your name in the movie. Give us $5.
To see
You know,
in the movie.
and she will say, okay, yeah, you know, because she will always support what we do. Everybody, you know, like here, they will support what we do. So we will put the movie out.
Nollywood is like a body coming together to produce Nigerian films and movies.
Well, that's where it started.
Okay.
But now it's spread to Hollywood, which I don't know whether they call it or whatever they call it. Now, people from Cameroon are doing the same thing, and people from Liberia are doing the same thing. And now everybody tries to follow what Nigeria has put out, and this model of using anything and everything to produce and tell our own stories ourselves.
Ms. Tabara, do you have anything to add to what Ben said?
Yeah, he's more into that like more than I am, because he's the director, producer, more. So.
Okay. Do we have any criteria for someone to become a member of Nigerian Nollywood?
Well, because this I would say, collection of people, we don't really look at where they come from. If you are helping us, you are Nollywood. Okay. You see what I mean? We have had people like Melissa Determined, who is from the Caribbean. And she's always in most of our movies. She was the ones that I've made, the ones that Donokolo has made, the ones Chris Olase and other people have made. She has always been there, always. She's in heaven, you call her, she will come back. And she will help us. She is Nollywood. It doesn't have to be.
It doesn't have to be somebody.
No.
Or you don't have any qualifications.
If you're helping us, if
any way you are supporting.
If somebody puts $5 in our movie now, I wouldn't name him more Nollywood. I will keep going.
Okay, Ms. Davira, I know you're a member of Nollywood USA. Can you explain to us?
Actually, in Nollywood, to be a member, apart from he's right, anybody can be, but not really everybody, because you have to have the drive, just like Melissa, like you mentioned, you have to be determined, like love what Nollywood is all about. And if you cannot act, you're not really going to be part of Nollywood. That's the bottom part of most of the time. So you have to have that, number one, a good actor to be a part of.
So what is the strength of Nollywood USA?
I think it's pretty much very strong. It's a very good union, and we all support each other. We help out. If I hear somebody is doing a movie, even if I'm not invited, I can come and go, hey, do you need something? And I come in, do you have enough money? If you don't, I'll do it for free. Like we support each other. Yeah. So that when we get up there, eventually, like Hollywood, then it will be something, another. But right now, it's a good union.
Do you have anything to add to what she said?
Well, it does say the strength of it is the people, the number of people involved in this, and the camaraderie that they share among themselves. Papa G, herself, Stella Ima, Icon,
yes,
right? All these people, even JJ Bonnie at the time she was doing it,
and
Eva Banks, They all trying. What's his name? Stanley.
Okay, Stanley.
Yeah.
Right. Chinedu, right. These are people who are putting their sweat and blood in this stuff to build an industry. Like it's always, when you start something, it's always difficult.
Difficult, yeah.
It's always difficult. And they are sweating it out. They are killing themselves in order to produce something. Because not telling our stories anymore is not an option.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It's not an option. We have to tell these stories. We don't care what it takes. We don't care how much it costs. We don't care who comes or who doesn't come. We're doing it.
I think we're going to come back to the challenges, because we know everything must have problems, challenges facing the organization. But Ms. Davira, you are an actress and you have features in 1 or 2 movies. So what is your experience as an actress?
Pretty much good. I've been doing this for about a very long time, mostly from Nigeria if I came down here. And then it was, before you can get in on screen, you have to know how to do stage.
Yes.
And then I was Richard Mofedamijo, that was my mentor. He was running some kind of agency from his whatever, I think so, I remember, it's been a while. And so if I go back to how it was started and looking fast forward to now, it's actually better as a lady, as an actress. There were some things that were not so good then. You have to give up a lot of your self-esteem, self-worth, unless you have a somebody that is looking out for you. That's why I mentioned RMD, because I know that then he was the one that would do my forefront for me. He would get me the stuff so that, I'm not going to mention names, but there was a lot of producers there that for women, you have to give yourself out to be future.
Before to future, yes.
Yeah. So you have to have somebody that
looks after you.
Yes, and that was what, so I did a little bit of stage because then you have to know how to. Then later on when I got to TV, then I came here, but it's a whole different thing here. It's very, very accommodating here. It's like a family. Over here we look out for each other, we cooperate. So going so far,
you collaborate and make sure that things work out fine. Okay, what's life in acting and life outside acting? How do you explain it? Like yourself, when you be on stage or in a movie, you're a different person. Then when you come out, you're a different person. How do you put the two together?
Oh, that's easy. On a good day, believe it or not, I'm a very is it introvert or somebody that I
introvert.
Yeah, I'd like to just stay home, no makeup, nothing, and just hang out with my kids and just I like the family, quiet life.
Yeah.
But if you don't know me, I'm out there extremely flashy and all that stuff. So that's the difference. So when you're doing movies, you get to be whoever you want to be or whoever the role they're giving you to play. So it's like you're acting different lives. That's the most exciting thing about it.
Okay, I will come back to you. Mr. Ben, you are a director, and I know you have directed so many movies, and it's not easy, especially here in the United States. So can you share some of your experiences and the task in directing a movie, a good movie?
Well, I've directed not quite many. Many people think I directed probably a whole lot of movies because they see me everywhere. But it's not like that. I've directed probably like 3 or 4 movies, that's it. But the thing is, those 3 or 4 movies, people still talk about it to today. It's been like 2000, maybe 9, 10, 11, the last time I was behind the camera.
And it's still fresh.
And people still talk about it. It's because, unlike most of the people who directed, most of our directors, they come from nothing. They just want to do something, so they start doing it. I was in Italy. I did a whole lot of TV, a lot of stage plays and all that stuff. That kind of groomed me a little bit. So when I came here, I didn't want to do movies. I didn't want to do Nollywood movies. I didn't want it at all. It was Papa G. Papa G.
That spoiled you into it.
It wasn't. He pressured me, coerced, bribed.
A lot of us.
Beat me up in the head.
Yeah, Papa G.
Stabbed me in the heart. So at some point, after he has mentioned it so many times, so he said so many times that we're gonna do this stuff. I want you to come around, but I never did. So one day I said, okay, let me just go see what the heck this thing is all about. So why is it bothering me so much? So I went there and I saw what he was doing. And immediately I identified the challenges. And I didn't think I would be able to do it. I didn't think I was able to be able to help me in any way. So I was driving home. And driving home from that meeting, they were still in the meeting. I just came, looked at what they were doing, and I left. And I was driving home, and I was thinking, how in this world, every time you watch Nigerian movies, you complain.
You complain, and
this is wrong, that is wrong, the light is this, the sound is that. You're always bitching about it. Sorry about it. But that was the truth.
Yeah.
But then, I was thinking, every time you complain about this stuff, and you do nothing, somebody is asking you for help. He's crying, kneeling on the ground, saying, please help. And you're driving home.
So your conscience was really disturbed.
I said, for you to change something, you must be in it.
Part of it.
I made a U-turn on the highway and went back there. He doesn't know this story. Nobody does.
I hope he will watch it and.
I think I was in that
So,
meeting.
well, Papa
Was
G,
it not when
it's
he-
your fault. I'm telling everybody now.
That was when he had it in that office.
Right,
so then
in the
when
office of-
Yeah,
right.
I remember that it was a very long, a
Yes.
lot of us that we were.
Yes,
Yeah.
they were having
So from the onset, maybe the first movie you directed here was a big challenge.
Yes,
to you because
because
you really
first-
want to change the face of things.
First, the script they had was scrappy. We had to scrap that from the beginning. But we had 2 weeks to start filming because he had bought everything and paid a lot of people.
And did his casting.
Right, and all that stuff was ready. But I thought the script didn't make any sense for them to start that way. So I told him, you know what? We're going to invent this script on the stage. And she was there.
Yeah, I remember. We didn't like it at first.
We put the script on the floor. And I will pick up one script and look at it and say, okay, Papa G, here's what's happening in this place. I want you to explain it to me what your vision is.
Yeah.
And then he will do it. I will plot it right there and film.
Yeah.
It was funny,
Yeah.
but I'm telling you, it was effective. By the end, you can now construct the script from what we did on stage. We did it backwards. And it still remains.
And it came out.
It still
Oh,
remains
yeah.
one of the
It's not
best.
as easy as it's saying because a lot of us didn't like him at that time because the director was like, it's too straight, you know. But we didn't let you know.
Yeah, yes, like you exactly said what I have in mind. As a director, I know many actors or actresses, either they will like you or they will hate you. So, what is the experience there? They call you all sorts of names.
You see, if you Ndibo say announce on Babu a job, you cannot, because somebody gets captured, you won't go to war. If there is war, we're gonna fight it.
Yes.
Somebody gonna die. In a war, somebody will always die.
Yes.
So, who is it gonna be? Do you know?
No.
Okay. So if you don't know that, you're gonna go to war trying to win, regardless of what the
Who is
situation
the-
is.
yeah, this, the
Put up her
outcome of
camera.
it.
Exactly. So she's going to scream a little bit, but when she comes back and watch that stuff, she'd be like, wow, that's why he was screaming. There was a scene with her. She played J.J. Bunny's auntie. J.J. Bunny was the wild one, throwing wild parties and stuff like that. She's the one calling her and saying, listen, Stacy, you can't be doing this. People are in the party in my brother's house fighting, trying to kill each other. So because you just want to throw a party and you don't even know your friends, and you should see her.
Oh, okay.
You should see her in that scene. You should see her in that scene.
Wait.
She didn't even know she had it.
Thank you.
Really?
I'm almost
No.
crying right now.
She didn't know. But when you turn that camera, when you see that movie, everybody was like, what was that? Zabira? Oh, that's her.
And let me just put one thing there. He brought back the way you actually direct movies back home in Nigeria.
Okay.
Professionalism.
And that's good. Which means bringing in professionalism into it, you must have discovered some hidden talents, and some Nigerians who don't know that they can act.
You see, the role of the director is to make the actress look good. That's the role of the director. If he doesn't do that, then he has failed. So, unlike stage where you have one chance
Yeah.
and that's it, the camera gives you the opportunity to redo it again if it didn't come out right. But the question is, do you know what you're looking for? If you are not sure of what you are looking for, then you won't be able to find it. So you just say, okay, yeah, she did it, it's fine. I asked her to say, come here, and she said, come here, and it's good. No, there are 5 million ways to say, come here.
And it looks.
Which one is it that you're looking for? That's the point. You have to know that. And when you realize that, then I can say, okay, Dabira, let's say, come here.
And she will say it exactly.
And then she will say it, I say, no. The come here you're saying is somebody like, come here, I'm going to kill you if you don't. But that I'm going to kill you if you don't, I won't hear it. I want to hear it in the come here. And she'll be like, come here. Now you look at
The
that
expression
face.
on your face.
That's a different thing from come here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those are the things, but you have to realize that.
Yeah. Okay, let me quickly ask you, why is it that you don't have much interest in directing?
I do have interest in directing.
Okay.
But the problem is the way we're doing it is wrong. Our modalities are wrong because they are raw and also most times wrong. And I don't like to do wrong things. We seem to, this industry, like you're saying, what are the challenges? One of the challenges is that people don't study stuff in order to do it, especially Nigerians. They tend to say, okay, because Kizito is doing a show, tomorrow morning I'm going to start one show.
One show, yeah.
But you don't know what Kizito has gone through in order to do that show. You never call Kizito and say, listen, what are the challenges of doing this show? What are the things that that I have to look out for? So when you don't do that, you tend to just dabble into it without.
Yeah, Mr. Ben, I'm gonna cut you up here because you are still going to the challenges. I want to know how effective Nollywood USA is here. What impact is it making among Nigerians and friends of Nigerians? Yeah.
Nollywood USA has been effective to some extent. And also because, like I was saying, it's hard to start something. So it's still in its infancy when you compare it to other movie industries that have stood the test of time, like Hollywood or Bollywood, for instance. And now people are putting money in it. Before, there was nothing. We just did it for free. Now when you say
people are getting interest to invest in it,
because Nollywood USA has been able to show that you could actually sell this stuff. If you make it well, you could actually sell it. There are movies produced by Dr. Kula from Atlanta. I think she's from either Liberia or Ghana or somewhere around there. She works with Van Vika a lot. Okay. I think she's a manager for Van Vika out here at some point. She produced a couple of movies that if you see them, you'll be like, wow. You see some movies now filmed or DP'd by Robert Peters that are world class. Before it wasn't like that. He was looking at these cameras and using all these toys. Now he's able to get red cameras, and black magic, and he's churning out some.
Okay, I will come back to
stuff.
you. I had the opportunity of interviewing Chukura. What's his name? It's a Nigerian.
Clara Chukura?
Clara Chukura. And she said something about movies being made here. She was of the opinion that even though we are in America, we should think of having our movies still relating to our stories back home. That we cannot say because we cannot be Americans, we can't be Western people, we are still Nigerians. So that is the problem she has with movies being made here. In your own view, do you think that some of the movies being produced here by Nollywood USA is really gets to what Nigerians wants to see, or are they doing it to impress the Americans or the white people?
No, I don't think so. I think Miss Clara Chukura maybe she hasn't watched a lot of our movies here, because we first of all we live here, as much as we have the white people, we have not reached that stage where we can impress them, not yet, because we don't have the luxury of borrowing money from the bank and all that stuff to make their movies. Is not low budget at all. So I would say that we are actually making a lot of movies here that is somehow reflecting
in relation to
home,
what we have.
because we really from there, and there's a lot of us that I wasn't born here, but there's a lot of people that are born here that are even in the movies. But 90% of the people in the Nollywood thing are actually back. They were born in Nigeria, so there's no way that there's no relation to our culture in our movies. Our accents, our dressing, the storyline, everything reflects
Nigeria.
in Nigeria. And even the budgets and the quality and all that is not yet up to them catching us and saying that, no, yeah, we're going to get there.
Yeah.
So I don't think she's quite right. She's my boo. I like her a lot, though. But
Okay, Mr. Ben, we have so many Nigerians. Like, before I come to these questions, the Nollywood USA, like I said it before, is it a body? Because we have a Lamfa in Los Angeles, we have other bodies who are giving award. Are they under Nollywood USA, or these are separate bodies?
Well, here's what's happening. There is an association, at least a league of directors, Nigerian directors, Nollywood directors here, who are forming an association trying to kind of control the situation a little bit. People like Oliver Mbama and Pascal Atuma, people like Chima Movie Empire, Tony Abolo. These people are trying to put the rein on the thing a little bit and try to see if we can streamline it somehow.
So
right, streamline it so not everybody, right. But at this point, it is anybody who wants to do a movie, has a budget, he starts doing the movie.
And it's not
controlled by a body, it's not controlled by anybody. See, that is why most of these movies that we see have a lot of flaws, because they're not controlled. In Hollywood, if you want to make a movie, there are categories of movies that will fit. If your budget is from here to here, it's an indie movie. I don't care what you do. I don't care how many people you kill. It will be indie. If your movie budget is from here to that place, it's a low budget. I don't care how many people you kill. I don't care how many people die in it, or how many people who you might have Will Smith. It is a low budget.
Okay.
If the budget is from here to that point, it's a mid budget. And from here to eternity, and now that is a big budget. See, now this classifying these movies in this way somehow puts a check on it. Because with an indie movie, there are certain things you can do and certain things you cannot do.
Okay, Mr. Ben, I think we're gonna go on break. When we come back, we continue from where we stopped. We're gonna see the challenges facing the Nollywood USA. We're also gonna look into the purchase of Nigerian movie by Netflix, and my two discussants will also tell us one or two things they do on their own. We'll be right back.
Discover the uniqueness in the entertainment industry. African Broadcasting Network, ABN, is now the pace setter in the industry. Do you want to advertise your product and services? Count on us. We will do it much more than your expectations. African Broadcasting Network, ABN, will deliver quick and prompt services. Our quality and clarity stands us out when it comes to delivering quality broadcasting. Our staffs are hardworking and versatile in the specific field of office. Our environment is so conducive and we are open to all. We also give advice on how to run your business profitably. African Broadcasting Network is situated at
9894 Eastern Street, Suite 875, Houston, Texas 77036.
Contact phone 281-652-8396 and
832-490-8203.
Website www.abntvnetwork.com. ABN, celebrating Africans' rich cultural heritage.
Hello viewers, welcome back to Point Blank. I have Princess Dabira, an actress, a business magnate, a fashion icon here on the studio, and also Mr. Ben Eze Amushie, a writer and artistic director. We'll be talking about Nollywood challenges and everything. Before we went on break, Mr. Ben was about saying something about censorship, and we continue from there. Is there any way that most movies are being censored before they are out there in the market?
Not really. Not really. There is nobody looking at that yet. And that is why in some of the movies you find some foul languages being used inappropriately and without any warnings to it. Because if you pick up a movie, it should tell you yes, who should watch it and who shouldn't watch it.
Yeah.
We don't have somebody censoring that and determining that yet. And our movies do not qualify to be sent to Hollywood to do that. For you to send that movie to Hollywood for them to look at it, you probably have to pay them $800,000. And our budget is probably 20.
So it's not going anywhere.
It's not gonna make it out there. You put it in a mail, they send it back to you. So what I'm saying is this: there is no body that controls that yet.
Okay, I will come back to that. I think there should be thinking towards that, to have a body censoring our movies. But Ms. Dabira, what are the challenges Nollywood USA facing?
Money?
Challenges that is facing money,
yeah.
and what aspect? Nobody.
If we have enough support, like if we are able to, a lot of us are very how would I put it? We know what we're doing, but you have to put your money where your mouth is. I hope I got that right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so if you have a project that you're trying to do, and to make it clean and all that, you need this amount of money. You don't have it.
Okay, it doesn't mean that the Nigerian community here, they are not supporting the Nollywood USA, or those who own businesses very, I don't know, they don't like Nigerian movies.
Oh, we do like Nigerian movies.
So why are they not playing a role in making sure that...
as a business owner, we only make so much. So we really can't support the way we're supposed to support. Like if you have a movie that you're trying to do and you want Dabira Jury to give you 20,000 or 50,000 to do a movie, how much is Dabira making to do all that? Is that the line of business he's doing? You know what I mean? So like Mr. Ben had said at first, something about these I don't know the names of these directors back in Hollywood. They don't use their money to do movies. We, even though we live here, unfortunately, we don't have the luxury of getting money from the banks and all that stuff. We don't have access to those informations or even access to it, period. To have that luxury, I'm saying luxury because that's what it has, turned out to be, to be able to future or foot the bill of our movies. So the number one thing is sponsorship. But not from our community. It doesn't have to be from the community. Like in American movies, do the American small businesses sponsor those movies? No, it will be the bigger businesses, maybe Nike and all that stuff, Coca-Cola. After the main person that is doing the movie has gotten the big old loan from the bank. You see how it goes?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Ben, can you give us an example of how much it could cost to produce a very good movie?
Well, there are two ways of looking at it. One is securing $1 million and starting a project with $1 million. One is securing a script or writing a very good script that will make it fun, that will sell. So there have been movies that have been made with $15,000 $15,000.
And they are good movies.
And it's grossed $200 and something million. You don't run into those films easily. You don't run into them every time. But it has happened. And one of them is paranormal something, whatever it is, paranormal activities or whatever it is. It was made with, I think, probably $11,000 between two friends. It grossed, now is going probably $200 million.
Okay.
So it is a question of finding, one is
taking time to,
yes,
to
to have the right approach to it.
yes.
Right.
Okay.
But Nollywood movies don't cost that much because, like I was saying, I'm going to call Dabira and say, listen, I need somebody crazy on that set to bounce somebody around, throw him out, kick him out. She said, okay, I can do it. Or she'll say, well, I can't do this thing because you're filming it on this day, I want to go to church. But my friend that is came to my place the other day, she's very good, she can fill in. See what I mean? Now I got somebody else. And we can go ahead. So it is a question of how much it costs to make a Nollywood movie is from 0 to 100 real quick.
Okay, we've been talking about financing and the money issue. Does it mean that we don't have access to all these banks or corporate organizations here, to solicit for sponsorships? And
there is a catch to that. One is the age-old question of the egg and the hen. Which one is older than the other?
Yeah.
That's what it is. This question here, the hen and the egg, which one is older? They have nobody has answered this question yet till today, and that is what is holding us, because they are expecting us to show them what we can do before they can now support us. Now, how can I show you what I can do with nothing? I need you to support me so I can show you what I can do. He said, no, I want to see what you can do.
Their fear could be maybe if they support you and what to give back is not what they're expecting.
Because they are used to seeing our stuff being low budget. Of course,
it's not better for us before we come out to do anything. We sit down, like we'll be saying, do a thorough job on what we are going to present to the public, so that whenever we do our presentations, nobody will challenge it. Nobody will say, this is below standard.
That is part of the challenge. That is part of the challenge. Because I remember when we were making those movies, in the script, it says something. And then I ask you to organize it, you organize something else. I'm like, okay, wait a minute. The prince just bumped up the budget in the last scene. He bumped up the budget for this party from 1,000. Now he wants to spend 25,000. Now we come to the party, and there are 4 people with glasses.
That's a problem.
You see?
Continuity.
So when you put up a camera, and there is something that doesn't fit there, you need to say, hold a minute, remove that stuff. And because you want to do it fast, you want to, because we
don't want to correct it. Say, let's go.
Let's go.
Okay.
And that is what is killing us, because that let's go will put something in that frame that shouldn't be there. So when Steven Spielberg over here watches it, it's like, what the heck is that?
Because these are experts.
It's like, okay, he's doing this. He wants me to give him money. He's going to do this when I give him $20,000. Like, no.
He doesn't want it.
And we're stuck.
Between
egg and the
you
hen.
have something to contribute? Okay.
Okay, so the thing here is that, like the egg and the hen that you said, a lot of us that we from immigrants or whatever, and we come to another man's land and we become the part of
it. They don't trust us.
Yeah, that's another issue. But if I try to go into a business like back in Nigeria, I do know that a lot of people that are into the industry actually went to school for that. But a lot of us here didn't go to school for that.
But we want to
But you want to
make
do
the
it.
millions of
Just
Hollywood.
like somebody's trying to do what you're doing right now because they say they're trying to do it. You know what I mean? So if you go to Rome, you want to act like a Roman. All these people that you're calling, I don't know a lot of them. The Spiegel, whatever.
Yeah.
You know.
Steven Spielberg.
Okay. He probably went to school for this.
Why are you kidding me?
Okay. So I can Dabira want to be a producer, a director, and didn't go to school for it.
And don't even know what the role is.
Here, I might have gone to school over back in Africa. So if I was in Africa making those movies, I can go with the flow of the standard of Africa. But if I come here and I didn't go to school here to learn how to
I feel to fit in.
you know, because I remember when I first came here, I tried to be going straight into the American movie. I didn't know that there was an issue. I was obviously way younger than this. I still look young, but anyway, let's go back to what I was saying. So, so I went to Hollywood. I went to California. I was like, yes, I'm going to be a star.
Yeah.
And you know, and so I got myself an agent. I'm serious. That's what I did. That was the first night when I came here, because I thought I was a superstar already. So they told me, and I was very skinny. They told me I wasn't skinny enough. Okay. I wasn't dark enough. Okay. Then I got myself a waiter job or whatever. And then you have to know how to swim. You have to know how to do gymnastics. They gave me so many things that you have to know how to do before you can even be called for an audition. Then they now asked me, so you went to school in Nigeria, so what did you study here? Do you know, this is just being an actor. I'm not trying to be a director, I'm just being an actress. You understand? So, I now find that people that are around me, where a lot of them have already graduated from, they went to school to study this. So that's the thing. If you have a dream of doing something and you want to get up there, we have a lot of Nigerians that are in this industry, that are Nigerians. Rotimi, what's that boy's name in 50 Cent's movie that he's doing, Power. Mm-hmm. Rotimi is a Yoruba boy. Mm-hmm. There's a lot. That's the only name I can remember. He's a very cute boy. Maybe that's I can remember his name. But there's a lot of us that are back there. Oh, there's this Igbo girl that is in this sitcom or whatever they call it.
Mm-hmm.
I
know what you're
it's
talking
so
about.
nice. It's so on HBO, and I watch it every time.
Is
She's
it
an Igbo girl. She something.
Yes,
and she goes Igbo Kwenu every time she gets award.
Okay, Mr. Ben, we're gonna come back to you. Ms. Dabira, you are the owner and proprietress of Dabira Jewelries. Can you briefly share us what makes Dabira Jewelry different and unique?
Okay, so Dabira Jewelry is different because my jewelries are custom made by me. So the colors, the metals, everything is all custom made by me. And it's owned by me, and my very, very beautiful mother is like my second in command. And now I have also added clothing to it, so it's not Dabira Jewelry and Clothing Store.
I discovered that you have a promotion going on. Can you tell us more about the promotion?
Yeah, so...
Is it buy two, get one free?
This month, October, will clock 1 year that I had relocated from my Houston location, that I was there for about over 15 years. And I took the courage to relocate into the mall.
To face the challenges.
To face the challenges and get into the American market. So the Americans can know that an African store does exist, and I didn't think I was going to survive, and I did. So it's a year this month that I'm at West Oaks Mall. So I'm doing a huge promotion. So my jewelries, which is what I started with all the way, I am doing 75% off on every.
75%?
Yes. So my jewelries that are originally 100, 150, 200, all the way to 350 or whatever, they're going to be as low as $20 to the max of $100.
How many days or weeks?
1 week.
1 week
day
promotion?
On Friday.
On Friday this week?
Yes. October 25.
5th?
Yes. For 1 week.
For 1 week?
Yes. Just 1 week. So come and grab your stuff.
Okay, that's Dabira Jewelry. If you want to get the best of Dabira Jewelry, that's the promotion for you from tomorrow, October 25th. You know where she is located. Go there. Every sale is at 75%. Wow, I will be going there. Mr. Ben, you a director, you a writer, you a commentator, and last year you launched 4 books on a day. You know, you published 4 books on a day, and this is one of the books. This one is the latest edition of Orie
The Badger.
The Badger. Please, can you throw more light on these storybooks?
Okay, the Orie the Badger is the story of a dying man in Houston, dying Igbo guy in Houston, who entrusts the story of his life to his 10-year-old adopted son. The doctors gave him a bad prognosis that he's not going to live to see the next full moon. So he sold everything he has, sold his companies. He was a rich guy. So he sold his companies, got rid of everything, put money in banks in the wife's name and all that stuff. Built very nice house in Nigeria for the wife to move to. He doesn't want to leave them here. He wants to take them home, so where he can live out the rest of his life and die and be buried among his ancestors. Everything is fine, except for one thing. When the child came, because he couldn't have a child, so he adopted one. When this baby came from Nigeria, he started telling this baby stories when he was little. And at some point, he started writing this story that he was telling him, the story of Eke Orio Afo Nkwo, how these 4 market days became market days in Igbo land. So he started inventing stories around Eke Orio Afo Nkwo for this little child. Now he's dying and he has never finished it. So he's stuck in the middle of not knowing what to do with this manuscript. For him would be a waste if he dies with it.
Completing it.
So the only way this thing could go forward is go back in history, go back in time, the way our ancestors did it. So he calls his boy, sits him down, and tells him, listen, I'm going to tell you a story. But this story is so important that you have to make promise to me right now that you tell it to 2 other people. Jaden or Dante or Brody, it doesn't matter. You have to tell 2 of them this story. But before you do, you have to make them promise you that they will tell it to 2 other people. So the idea is to keep this story alive until this boy grows up, be able to now probably write this story. So he sits him down and hands him the story of Orie the Badger, which is how Eke Orie Afo Anokwo became market days in Igbo land and what market did to the Igbo people. And that's the reason why till today, every market in Igbo land has either Eke Orie Afo Nkwo. All of them, from Enugu to Imo State to everywhere. Every market in Igbo land has one of these 4 names. And this is the reason why.
Okay. How can one get this book?
This book is on Amazon.com.
Okay.
It's on Amazon now. And the NDERC have read it in Nigeria, and they probably are recommending it
schools.
Yeah, for schools.
Oh, that's good.
Very good.
Okay, I understand that you have another book in the offering. What is that one?
I have probably about 9 books to be published. I wanted to release all of them the same day, but then somebody said you were crazy, which I don't think he was wrong. But, you know, I just decided to go with that 4. The other ones are Trilogy of African Poetry. It's called Wilderness in the Mind. Wilderness in the Mind, Trilogy of African Poetry, episode 1, 2, and 3. And then this one. Okay. So, and that's 4. But I have Universal Donor. I have The Steel Room, The Mind, the Brain of a Surgeon, In the Middle of Summer. I have Chimeze and the Crocodile. I finished Chimeze and the Crocodile. Actually, I'm trying to work on doing the illustrations right now.
I know you belong to the likes of Chinua Achebe and Wole Soyinka.
There is Universal Donor, which is actually a movie that I'm trying to bring into book. Now, my friends say you're crazy for bringing it into book, but I think it makes sense to bring it into a book. But Universal Donor is being looked at in Hollywood right now. So I don't know, let's just cross our fingers.
If you get
something comes up.
Just give me a role there.
Congratulations.
I may not be able to give roles, but I will bring in at least 3 or 4 Nigerians into that project.
Okay.
And they're going to be paid.
Audition.
It's not going to be like...
Let me have a chance to audition.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay, thank you so much.
See me, Becky. I've always said it was great so that you know.
Ms. David,
Yes.
what advice do you have for Nigerian actors and actresses, especially the young ones coming up? What do you have to tell them?
Advice, well, make sure that you know, you can actually act. That's number one.
Yes.
Then
Know who you are.
yeah, you know, and don't do a fast forward. I don't know how to explain it, but just take your time.
Don't put the
learn.
horse before the gun.
Yeah, learn the art.
Take your
and
time,
everything,
study it. Even if you go audition the first time, you have failed or you're not selected, don't take it in bad faith as if somebody hates you or somebody doesn't want you to come on board. You know?
And the number one thing is to be humble,
Yes.
because you know that goes a long way.
Yeah. Like you said when we started, don't give out to yourself because you want to feature in a movie or you want to feature in a stage performance. Try to be who you are so that when your director sees the potential in you and picks you, definitely you're gonna make a good actor or actress. Mr. Ben, what advice do you have to?
Well, the most important thing is the art itself. Don't forget the art. Money is there, money will come, but don't forget the art.
Yeah.
You have to nurture it. It's like a relationship. It's like marriage. You don't kiss your wife from time to time, or your wife doesn't kiss you from time to time. Things will go bad. It's like mathematics. You leave it for one day, you leave it for 1 week. That's how it is. So it has to be nurtured, it has to be cared for. Don't be afraid to showcase yourself to a friend and say, listen, how do I look in this? You know, I read this poem and I'll ask Dabira, what do you think about it? And she will say, well, I don't really like that word Orie there. Can you change it with something else?
Yeah.
That will make you a better person. If you listen to those kind of stuff, you might actually make a change that you'll be like, wow, I didn't know this was there.
You're gonna be a better option.
You just have to be humble, humble yourself, look at options, and like she said, don't go trying to date the director so you can get the role.
Yeah.
That is a killer.
Mm-hmm.
Because once the director sleeps with you,
Whether you do good
he
or bad.
cannot tell you to do something again. Because every time he stands in front and say, Dabira, would you do this? Dabira will be like, why would you like me to do that? And the whole thing goes bad from there.
Makes him business. with
It
pleasure.
just plunges all the way down.
Yeah.
That's why when I'm on stage, if I lift my camera, everybody in that frame is paid. So I have the right to tell you to jump low or high. And you have nothing to tell me. And that's why I come in there as my commander. It's not a democracy, it's a dictatorship. I tell you stand, you stand.
Because you are looking for the best.
I tell you sit down, you sit down. And I'm telling you, the reason why I do that is by the time you sit down and look at yourself in the frame, you'll be amazed. You'll be amazed.
Yes.
That's all I'm looking for. That's wow in your face. Like, Jesus Christ, was that me? Yes, it was. You didn't know it was there, but it was there. We just have to bring it out.
Okay, one more sentence. What are we expecting to see in the near future about Nollywood USA?
The next future.
Yes. What is our expectation? Considering what we have just discussed here, what we have said here, what we have pointed out, what if we take it into action? What will Nollywood USA turn out to be?
We're actually spending more money on, doing movies now, and we are learning, and we are good at learning. And Nigeria, I'm saying Nigeria because that's where I'm from. We are very good at what we want. When we want to do something, we do it right. And so everybody else follows, sorry, but that's how it is. So Nollywood is going places, and in our acting, in the quality of our movies, and we have examples to show, like Ben has said about, picking up all the names. I'm not good with throwing names because I'm not friends with a lot of them, but like a movie that I just was in, a Yoruba movie, even Yoruba movies are actually doing way better. Yeah, and I was in one that came out last month, Irelu. And if you watch it, there's this film tricks, there's this whole lot of stuff. And it's actually a Nollywood movie. So we're going places.
Okay, Mr. Ben, in 2014, Nollywood, Nigeria net 5.1 billion and contribute 5% of our GDP. Do we see that to increase in the years coming?
It will. The reason why it had that boost was because Goodluck Jonathan then had a hand in it a little bit. He said, okay, we will set aside some funds, people who are qualified, give them some money, let them. So that gave a lot of boost. This present administration has been just I have no idea. Low. I am not saying anything about it. But just like Jesus Christ left and left his children, and they have no idea what they have to do. But now, because like she said, Nigerians winners always find a way to win. Yeah. That's what I see. Nigerians are winners. They always find a way to win. So what they have figured out is a way to market their product. Okay. And once they have figured a way to market their product, I can guarantee you Nollywood will have risen. Yes, it will rise again. It will rise to its best because they can now sell their products and actually make some money like the musicians are doing now. Yeah. And most of the musicians are now trying to get into Nollywood. Trying to get in Banky W them. Yeah. My friend P Square, we've been talking with P Square to do one of my movies. I've been for a while now, but let's just leave it there. That will happen at some point. Let's we are going to draw the curtain here. It's been very wonderful having Princess Dabira. Here we'll be talking about Nollywood, the challenges and the expectations. And once again, Mr. Ben Amusi, yes, and don't forget to go get your copies. And go get it right now. It's on Amazon.com.
We appreciate you coming. Yes, Amazon.com. If you go there, we need to patronize our own. And starting from tomorrow, Dabira is having a 1-week promotion show for spending 1 year at West Oaks and challenging it, they are facing it out. Here we come to the end of this edition of Point Blank. Till next week when we are going to have another interesting topic. I am your brother, Kizito Osimnobi Ibe, thanking you for watching.
Thank you.
Thank you.